if you don't think there's a lot of chiller opportunities in your area, let's come do this. Let's identify some. So this is a Chase Bank building. We can see a high rise, Dallas Petroleum Club. So very, very fancy building. We can see we have a penthouse mechanical right here on the roof. That is a cooling tower. You can see a very large tower body. This looks like maybe, I don't know if it's an Evapco, but it's just one big tower fan. It's hard to tell exactly what type of tower it is, but this is a cooling tower, right? Here's your deck assembly. This is your fan assembly over on this side. That's what we're looking at. Now we see another, we got this thing right in the way. Looks like that might be another tower back over here. See, RTUs and chillers don't have a fan deck that looks like this. The only thing that has fan decks like this are cooling towers where everything's kind of offset, or I've never seen an RTU that was large scale that had a single condenser fan for the RTU. It's just not a design I'm familiar with. What that would tell me on this particular building is this is a water cooled system. So they've probably got water cooled, could be centrifugals, could be water cooled screws. We don't know, but there's likely a water cooled machine inside of this building. Maybe they're doing self-contained systems or water source heat pumps. Who knows? But they've got a cooling tower, and that cooling tower is a really strong indicator that this might be a building of interest to us. And this may be somebody we could go talk to as a potential customer, as an example. Maybe you're working at a company that they're willing to start doing some chiller work, but they don't have any chiller clients. They don't know how to go get chiller clients. They don't even know where to look for chiller clients. And so I've had this happen many a times where, say, okay, well, you as the technician, if you can go find chiller accounts, they'll give you the backing as the company to own those accounts, and the company will let you go in that direction. This is the way you can do that. All right. So coming back over here, all right, we see 4 cooling towers right there on the roof. All right, so we've got another water-cooled building right here. Okay, this is the Encore Electric Delivery Headquarters. All right. Quite literally, all I did before stream was just get to this point on the map. And all I did was, stop it. All I did was zoom in. To be honest, I couldn't even tell you where I zoomed into earlier. But I'm trying to show, I didn't do anything fancy there. I'm not tricking you in what I'm showing you. I literally just picked a point on the map. I don't even know where I was. I just picked a point on the map and zoomed in, and we just started seeing things. So we're just going to come over here. All right, so we see the top of this building. Not the greatest image, but seeing what we see, there's a whole bunch of these little individual. These are all splits right here. This building has a ton of splits. That's a set of apartments, so that makes sense. Each apartment has its own system probably assigned to it. A whole rooftop, not too worried about that. That's not our forte. This looks like that could be a large RTU for the building. It may be makeup water, or not makeup water, makeup air. This may be a large makeup air unit. We do see what looks like a small RTU over here. Could be a kitchen system. What is this? Victory Place. I'm assuming that's a hotel. I don't actually know. Either way, this one may not be of interest. Like if our heart, okay, here we go. Cooling towers, parking lot, or parking garage. These towers, I would assume, are feeding one of these buildings here, or maybe this building here. What is this? Oh, the Dallas Mavericks. Oh, there you go. Well, that would make sense. So the Lexus garage. So this is probably the towers for the Mavericks stadium. Let's see, does the Mavericks stadium have any other rooftop equipment? There's some exhaust fans. Yeah, those are exhaust outside air. Exhaust outside air. All right, so it looks like I would put money down. This is the garage for the state. I don't actually know. I've never been there. But I would assume this is for the stadium. This is probably a hotel that serves the stadium. These towers here are going to be for the stadium, and they'll be piped underground. In this stadium, these are almost always water-cooled. Water-cooled systems are one of the few systems that can scale large enough to service a facility like this. So I would absolutely expect it to be fully water-cooled. Let's keep on the hunt. Let's go pick here. Let's just zoom back out. Let's go pick somewhere else. Here's a cluster of buildings. What do they have? So I see a warehouse district of some kind. All right, so we see little RTUs here. All right, 2 fans, large body. That's all RTUs. RTUs, RTUs. All right, so if you want to do RTU work, you could find those all day. That's not what we're looking for. We care about chillers. What do you have? Looks like some kind of processing facility. Okay, we see fuel trucks. We don't see any kind of cooling equipment, so that's maybe just a warehouse. I see more RTUs. And what I want to help you identify is, what does this equipment look like from the top side? All right, so we've got some small RTUs. Okay, there's your examples of some single fans, little bitty guys. And you'll see what I mean when we come across an air-cooled. These are all warehouses. All right, so here's some more cooling towers. Set of cooling towers here, set here, set here, set here. This is all chiller potential, right? So this could be cooling processes inside of the facility. This could be actual water-cooled equipment inside the facility, maybe some process chillers. These look like some more cooling towers over here. There's some little RTUs, or at least split system condensers at minimum. Let's keep looking. I want to find an air-cooled. I want to show you. We're going to do this. Hopefully you get the concept of what I'm doing here, though. Like, if you don't think there's chiller opportunities where you are, look at how many cooling towers alone we found, right? That tells me there's a lot of water-cooled equipment here. Okay, this is a good example of a large RTU. We have a large condenser fan deck right here. We have our makeup air system right here, or our duct intakes, outtakes, right? So we can see this, what these hoods are doing. So I would say this is a large RTU with a lot of makeup air attached to it. You can see the same things over here on these, right? That would be my assessment just seeing that setup. But these are not chillers. Those are RTUs. This is an exhaust fan. All right. We're getting closer. I can smell one. Where are we at? I can see a whole bunch of ventilation equipment. We see what looks like maybe some duct or piping. That would be an RTU right there. This may be a water-cooled facility. Oop. Oh, it's so hard to see. Okay, that looks like ducting. That's not piping. Yeah, most of that looks like duct. What is that? Oh, it's a hospital. Okay, that's all your ventilation systems. Okay. That's why it looked like so much ventilation, because it was. What do you have? These are some very large air handlers. So this is an air handler. This is one. It's hard to tell what this equipment is. Giving air handlers of these size, it is hard to tell. It's not the blatant example I want to show you. Ooh, look at all these towers. Got some rooftop units. So here's some. These are, so, okay. Let me point this out. These are air handlers. The reason I can say that, where's the condenser fans? Right? Every time we've seen an RTU, we had condenser fans. In this example, you can look at this. There is no condenser fans on this top deck. These are just air handlers. So that's one way you can quickly identify which is which. But here's the thing. Being the fact these are air handlers, that likely means there's going to be chilled water equipment piping to them. The question is, where is that equipment? Let's see if we can see anything on the ground. Yeah, there's nothing obvious here. Yeah, this is actually taking a little longer than I planned on it. So that's an air handler. Again, no condenser fans. Oh, wait, no, okay. Here on the side, those may be fans right there. So this may be an RTU style system. We may have a side condenser, side mounted. I'm very stubborn. Here's another RTU. All right, we can see the body. We can see the condenser section. I'm very stubborn. I don't want to drag this out, but I really want to. This is, okay, here we go. What is this? This is a data center. Okay, yeah, that was going to be my guess, given the layout here. These are air-cooled chillers right here. These are all air-cooled chillers. This is what you're looking for. See, I told you I'd be successful. Question me. These are all your air-cooled chillers right here. So you'll see that the entire top deck of the chiller is just a condenser fan deck all the way across. All right, now you have to be careful because there could be some large refrigeration racks that look very similar. I would argue that these over here, how these are single line fan decks, I would argue that these over here could be just a set of refrigeration racks for some crack units. But these are air-cooled chillers. These are your chill water pipings come in and out. That is what this whole setup right here is, sitting up on some pedestals on the roof. That's what these are over here. These are all look like air-cooled chillers. So this is what you're looking for, right? When we come over here, we can see more of them. We can see more of them over here. Heck, those may be some York machines there. You can see actually that looks like a YCIV. Looking at that fan deck assembly, we've got our, so this would be a 3-circuit machine. Circuit 1, Circuit 2, Circuit 3. Here's your control panels up here, right? That's not something you have to identify. I'm just saying that's what I'm seeing. These look like they could be some carrier machines, looking at the shape and color. These old rusted things might be trains. Because, train has the stain, or the, not stainless, but the steel condenser fan blades, right? That's one of the things that you'll see common with those. These look like they could be smarts right here, to be honest. Or maybe some newer trains, right? These could be a newer train with well, those are only single line, right? Those may not be air-cooled chillers right here, but these for sure, very confident are. Anyway, you can kind of see the example of, if you don't think there's equipment around you, these are easy ways of going and finding those examples.